Today, I would like to talk to you about Persian scientist and scholar Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarazmi. Through the years 1813 and 833, he had worked on and published many writings on astrology, astronomy, geography, and mathematics. In this picture, I would like to go over three of his greatest achievements. I will be talking about his work on advancing and developing modern mathematics, geography, and astrology. So who here enjoys mathematics? Have you ever been in class wondering about the origins of the number zero? If you said no to the first question, maybe you've never thought of this. You can't take the number zero for granted. Prior to al-Khwarazmi's developments, the number zero was not widely used in mathematics in the Western world. It is important to understand the origins of mathematics and to pay respect to the important developments al-Khwarazmi made because we still use the techniques he published today. We have been using the algorithms to solve problems and have been studying algebra as a necessary foundation for our basic education. Millions of people have been affected by the important works published hundreds of years ago and will continue to do so. Without al-Khwarazmi and the important books he published, we would not have simplified forms of mathematics that can be used by average person today. Al-Khwarazmi was considered the father of algebra. He published the book Al-Kitab al-Muhtashar fi Hisab al-Jabr wa Muqabala. In English, that is called the Compendium Book of Calculations by Completion and Balancing. It was the first book teaching elementary mathematics that could be easily understood by the common man. Written in the year 820, the term algebra came from the Arabic word al-Jabr, which means completion. I would like to cover al-Khwarazmi's three most important achievements. Firstly, he developed the concept of the algorithm. He further developed the positional number system, which is incorporating numbers 0 through 9 in mathematics. He introduced the number 0 to the Western world in the 12th century. Secondly, he developed elementary algebra. Lastly, he developed the most advanced map of the world for a time and created a system that would calculate the position of its stars. I would like to start the review of al-Khwarazmi's great achievements with his work on theorizing the concept of the algorithm. He worked on previous theories from Greek and Hindu knowledge and amalgamated them along with his own contributions important to the fundamentals of mathematics. This led to the creation of the algorithm, which is the system of numerals essential to the basics of math. Al-Khwarazmi studied the decimal system that was originally developed by Hindu scholars in the 6th century. Upon his work, he added the number 0 to complete the system. The concept of the number 0 was important because of his ability to be a placeholder and hold its own as a value in the algorithm. Using this new numeric system that included the number 0, he was able to add, subtract, multiply, and divide within solving a problem. This is where he introduced a linear and identifiable set of sequence steps for a solution which could be commonly known as an algorithm. Al-Khwarazmi's work was translated into Latin, which gave its name into modern mathematics today. Middle and modern age scholars would commonly argue and discuss their research to further develop modern mathematics. According to David Nabirani from Pace University, he found that the phrase Dixit algoritmi, or in English, thus spoke by al-Khwarazmi, became an arguing point in mathematical disagreements to send the message that any words written by al-Khwarazmi are final, true, and must be followed to not be argued against. Now that I have talked to you about al-Khwarazmi's work on algorithms, I would like to talk to you about why he was called the father of algebra. As I stated earlier, al-Khwarazmi published the book Al-Kitab al-Muhtashar fi Hisab al-Jabr wa Muqabala, the Compendium Book of Calculations by Completion and Balancing. This was the first book of algebra. The first book on algebra was one of the most important works of mathematics in history. The developments that al-Khwarazmi made were easy to understand and could be taught to solve many everyday problems. It was so important because it was the starting point of modern math. Scholars came back to the book to cite it as evidence, and it was the foundation for lots of research. The term algebra came from the word al-Jabr, as I mentioned earlier. Before the book algebra was simple. According to the author Dr. John Hanna from the University of Canterbury, simple algebra was only an operation of restoring a subtracted quantity carried out during the process of solving for an unknown quantity. Al-Khwarazmi in the book covered 6 algebraic equations. The main point of these new equations and techniques was to show a new form of balancing and completion that could be applied to any problem. I mentioned that the algebra that al-Khwarazmi developed was easy for everyone to understand. It was organized and could be applied to everyday issues because that is what the Persian scholar intended to do. According to David Nabarani, he wrote Al-Jabr in the year 830 for Muslims to use as a mathematical aid to solve the issues of inheritance, partition, lawsuits, legacies, and trade. Now that we have gone over some of Al-Khwarizmi's mathematical innovations, I would like to talk to you about his geographical and astrological discoveries. Al-Khwarizmi developed the most advanced map of the world for its time and developed a system that would calculate the positions of the stars. In 833, Al-Khwarizmi released a book named Kitab Surat al-Ard in the English, The Image of the Earth. He further developed Greek scholar Ptolemy's map and added 2,402 coordinates around the globe. He included very detailed accounts of 6 different sections, which included seas, mountains, islands, rivers, cities, and regions. He arranged the climate of each region by its longitudes. Al-Khwarizmi improved upon the Southeast Asia region and connected the maps of the Mediterranean Sea and the Atlantic and Indian Ocean. Along with his geographical work, he improved astrological facts. One innovation he created was an astronomical table. He mapped out the positions of the stars by using calculations. His book Zi al-Sindbad, known in English as Astronomical Table of Sinhad, was written in 820 and was partially based on Indian research. The astrological tables made sense of the magnitudes of solar eclipses and finding solar and lunar velocities within their diameters.